Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 2019 Empowered Life series. Welcome, whether you're joining us live on the Zoom or on the Facebook Live. We welcome you, and hello if you are watching the recording at another time. You are all in for an amazing treat. So grab your tea, get out some essential oils. We just put some bergamot on, and get ready to take notes because there's some really amazing information that we have for you today. We are, I don't even know if I have the words. We are so incredibly blessed to have the guest with us today that we have. I'm going to let Tiffany tell you a little bit more about her background and credentials, but what I want to say and share with you is that she is a true modern medicine woman. She is a healer of the soul, and she comes with a depth of knowledge which is really incredible. And she is here to share that with all of us and all of our community. And so we are incredibly blessed that she is taking time out of her life. She's actually in her clinic right now, working with patients, that she's taking this break to share with all of you. She did a live presentation in Portland on Monday, and it was actually the first time I've met her in person. And it was just such a delight to be in her presence, to be in her light, and to just share and learn from her. So I'm incredibly excited that all of you are here and that you're all going to get to experience her magic with us. So Tiffany, thank you so much. And again, I'm going to sign out and let you take it over from here.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm just imagining the faces on the other side of this, and I'm so truly grateful for technology that allows individuals all over the world to be connected like we are. It's just a true joy. And I'm going to navigate to the next slide here. The title of this talk is called Dynamics of Fragrance, Energetics and Frequencies of Essential Oils. And time is one of our most precious resources. So the fact that you all have decided to take an hour out of your time to be together with me means a lot. And I take it seriously in the best possible sense, meaning that I treat your time with most respect and reverence. And it's with that that I've created this material to offer to you, because it's a structure and an understanding of fragrance that allows you to have a much more deeply empowered relationship to the oils. So our journey with the oils is, for each of us, a journey. You know, it's a personal journey. It's often a family journey, a journey with the loved ones in our life. But as we journey with the oils, we start to understand them more. We can understand them from a book knowledge place, an information place. We can also begin to understand them more and more from an intuitive place. And what I love about what I'm about to share with you is that it helps you to bridge that divide, or bridge that gap that often comes up between the intuitive ways of knowing and the logical or information-based ways of knowing. So with that as a little context, let's dive in. And on this first slide, I thought since we are spending the next hour together, I wanted to share with you just a little bit more about myself and my background. So as it says here, and Aisha mentioned as well, that I'm a modern day medicine woman who uses fragrance as my primary tool for healing and transformation. So indeed, in the over 25 years that I've been supporting people on their path of health and healing and recovery, essential oils have been hands down the most consistent and the most powerful tool that's guided me throughout that time. And not only has it been the most powerful tool that I've seen professionally and clinically, but also for me personally, which I'll share little bits about as we move through the material. Now, in terms of my journey as an educator and helping people on healing path, it began again over 25 years ago now, and it began with teaching exercise classes. And then that naturally evolved into nutrition and helping people with their diet and eating right for them. And then I studied biochemistry in undergrad. I worked in a lab. I thought that I was going to go through allopathic medical school, and then I ended up hearing about naturopathic medical school. So I came to Seattle, Washington. Some of you know Bastyr University. I studied naturopathic medicine there, and then Chinese medicine and acupuncture, which is ultimately what I hold my license in. I went on then to become faculty at Bastyr University, teaching in their 5-element program. That's in the realm of Chinese medicine. And I have also created virtual courses with the oils. So one of the virtual courses that I love, called the Healing Oil Collective, has helped to connect individuals all over the world and takes us on a journey very deep with one oil each month. I also have virtual courses that focus on pediatrics, on pregnancy and delivery, on adolescence, 2-day professionally accredited seminars for using oils on acupoints. And I refer to that as acupoint therapies. I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of little pearls from that as well, because it's so powerful. Now, the reason why I recap all of this and share it with you is because I know a lot of you, it may be the first time that you've seen me, the first time that you've heard about me. And I wanted you to know that this is my life. This is what I devote all of my time and energy into, is healing, transformation, and the oils. And so what I bring has a tremendous amount of depth. It has a lot of history to it. And to be honest, what I'm sharing with you today, I really wish that someone would have given to me 15 years ago, because it would have saved a lot of time in understanding how the oils work and how they move chi energy in the body. So actually, before we move on, if you have bergamot handy, and if you don't have bergamot, or some people say bergamot, green mandarin would work well, petitgrain, neroli. If you have any of those, I want you to take the oil and take a drop onto your finger. And I put it on my pinky fingers. And then take that and put it on this point called shenmen in the ear. So I'm going to show you. It's the little crevice or groove in the upper part of the ear there. And I want you to just hold this point and this oil for a minute or so. And it feels really important for me to do this right now. As Aisha mentioned, I'm at my clinic right now, which is outside of Seattle, Washington. And I just was working with a patient who had an incredible loss of a child. And I'm just still, as you can imagine, moving that energy through my own body as we are sitting here together. And placing bergamot on point shenmen like this in the ear, it's like it's basically a quantum reset. It's the equivalent of if you reboot your computer or reboot your phone. It does that at the level of the nervous system. So it helps to reset sympathetic and parasympathetic aspects of the nervous system. I feel it happening right now. It harmonizes right and left hemispheres of the brain. And some of the brain structures that end up inevitably overfiring, it helps those calm down, while some of the structures that are then underfunctioning can step up. So it's like a great rebalancing of the central nervous system. And how that translates to the periphery or to the rest of the body is through a really beautiful and graceful fascial unwinding, which I just was experiencing as well. And the fascia is the connective tissue. It connects everything to everything inside your body. And the fascial unwinding just literally allows us to come and move out of our guarded or protected posture or stance or holding pattern, so that we can be present, perceptive, appropriately open, and appropriately boundaried. Good. Thank you for going through that process with me. And if you didn't have the oil handy, or you weren't able to do that right then, please try it again later. I actually recommend this very thing to so many of my patients to start off their day that way, especially if they tend towards anxiety or if they're in the process of breaking old habits that aren't supportive for them anymore. Anything where you're wanting to literally change the entire effect and state of the being, try the bergamot on Shenmin. Okay, so here we go. Continuing. How does fragrance affect the body, the mind, and the soul? That is such a big question, and one that we could easily take up this entire time and beyond, but I want to just mention a couple of key elements. And I know for some of you this might be repeat, but for others it might be the first time hearing something like this. So our sense of smell and the place, let's see, I think I can't hover a cursor around it, but if you look at the little molecules, those are the fragrance molecules going up to the olfactory bulb that is hanging out of the cribiform plate there, which is the bony crevice. So this is the only place in the body where nerve endings actually free dangle out to technically the outside world, even though it's inside your nose. Your nose has a hole. So the outside world is going directly in and connecting with those olfactory nerves. Then from there, this fragrance, which comes as vibrational information and as biochemical information, it goes into the limbic area of the brain. So the limbic, you probably have heard the limbic system before. The limbic system is not just one structure, it's actually a plethora of structures that span different cavities within the brain. But what's unique about the limbic system, and probably why we do hear about it a lot, is that it relates very much to our emotional body, to our immune system, and also to memory. So our whole psychological realm is very closely connected to the limbic system, as well as our immune system and some of our pain responses. So when these fragrance molecules go in and they go into the limbic system, they instantly start reordering the way that the brain is working on a neurological and a biochemical level. So we see very quickly shifts in various neurotransmitters that are released. Then we see a cascade of events that are neuroendocrine in nature. So endocrine system being relating to your hormones. Hormones aren't just the sex hormones. We often think of like testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone, but pretty much everything that happens in your body, it's preceded by some kind of a message. And the messages are delivered most often through hormones. So we see neuroendocrine responses just from inhaling an oil, just as much as we see biochemical responses at the neuron level. Good. So I love this last sentence, which says, it translates into a mosaic of openings and reorientations in the soma and the psyche. So that's in the body and the mind. A mosaic of openings and reorientations. And that's literally what you will feel if you tune into your body when you're smelling an oil, or just like when I was doing this, and perhaps you were doing it too. I felt like a lifting up, then a coming down and in, settling in, and then I felt my body sort of softly unwrapping itself. When we're tense, nervous, fearful, these are all things that tend to contract the energy. When we're in a hurry, these all tend to contract the energy. So it's like a big a sigh of relief and an opening. And again, I just want to highlight, because it's actually quite radical, that these openings and reorientations, they're not just happening in the body, they're happening within the psyche as well. It's pretty amazing. Scent is our most primitive sense. It's the closest thing to the emotional brain. It penetrates you, you love it, and you want to be a part of it. I was just giving this presentation live in Portland the other day, which was just lovely. And I was laughing with everyone, or chuckling at least, about this last sentence that I love. You love it and you want to be part of it. So it sounds so simple, but it's so true. When we smell an oil that we really, really love, for me, neroli is one, jasmine is one. I mean, I love them all, but there's certain ones that when I smell them, it's like I merge with the oil or with the plant spirit, and the plant spirit merges with me, and it happens spontaneously. And to me, that's how I interpret this. You love it and you want to be a part of it. And I would even add on, and it wants to be a part of you. There's this sense of like breathing with the plant spirit when you take in an oil. Fragrance connects us through all of time to our human, animal, insect, and plant ancestors. I just love this picture. So you can see, really, I think the thrust of this picture is this connection to the ancestors. And how you might think about this with fragrance is that oftentimes when we smell something that our grandmother used, for example, or that our grandmother cooked, it instantly takes us back in time. And even though we're here and now, a part of us in our psyche is back literally in time with that person. So fragrance can connect us to the ancestry that we're conscious of and aware of, but even beyond, through our deep, deep lineage. And the core spice oils, like for example, coriander seed, cardamom, clove, cinnamon, these are often the oils that will, even though we don't have full conscious recognition of it, in our nervous system, it connects us way, 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 way back in time through our stomach to our ancestors. And then likewise, the oils also connect us to other animals, of which are part of the web of life that we're a part of. And then also to insects, particularly those insects that pollinate the plants that the oils come from or help protect the plants that the oils come from. I just learned the other day, I was taking a little hike in Portland in the Arboretum, and I learned that the magnolia trees, they have, I didn't learn that they have blossoms, I've known that, but I learned that the blossoms themselves are 100 million years old. And they came into being before the pollinating insects that we knew of were around. So before bees or other flying insects could pollinate, we still had these blossoms, these amazing blossoms 100 million years ago. And it was actually beetles that would pollinate. And the fragrance of the magnolia flower itself was actually, we could say, created to entice the beetle to help with pollination. So it's this kind of stuff that I'm talking about when I say it connects us to our deep time roots. It connects us to not just our human ancestors, but our plant ancestors, and also to these amazing insects that have helped propagate fragrance through pollinating over time. Okay, so now we're going to get into how fragrance moves energy. This is going to be tough for me to do sitting down. I'm so used to standing up to express these movements. So I may I may have to get off the stool and do that at some point. And I definitely encourage you, if you're able, if you're not driving, to make these movements with me as we go through them, because it'll help it become part of you, part of your body, and part of your being. Okay. Now this chart, this is a lovely chart that was created together. Sarah Campbell, who's a beautiful fellow practitioner, and Peter Holmes, who is a medical aromatherapist, a medical herbalist, and an aromatherapist. And Peter and I together created a technique called aroma acupoint therapy, which is the placement of key oils on key acupoints to treat a variety of different conditions. And Peter had, over his years of working in aromatherapy, put together this fragrance energetics chart, which you can see if you look in the middle column. and it says 6 fragrance qualities. So those fragrance qualities he distilled out of perfumery language because he wanted to have a clear system for plugging different essential oils in terms of how they smell. And if you've ever looked at perfumery languaging, you know that there's well over 100 different adjectives. So this is like the 6 most basic that I'm going to share with you, along with a few subcategories. And this will help us to slot different oils into the category that it most goes with, and then in doing that you'll be able to understand how it is that that particular oil or that particular blend is going to move chi energy in the body. So I put this here as a big overview, and just know that we're going to go into each one in some decent depth, so don't feel like you have to take all of this in now. But I do want to just highlight right now these movements that are off to the, on my screen, it's the right-hand side, the 6 movements and effects. Now, these are the movements that over time, working with fragrance dynamics in my clinic. By the way, I've had my clinic here outside of Seattle, Washington for, this is my 17th year actually. And it's literally been my essential oil laboratory. So it's here seeing and treating thousands and thousands of people that I've been able to track results and see how different fragrance dynamics engage with the body of people, engage with the mind of people, engage with the emotions, engage with the soul in order to create certain movements and then certain experiences and qualities of change. So I can accomplish in one session with someone what used to take me 6 to 8 treatments to do. And that's simply because of using the oils in this way that I'm sharing it with you. And of course, I use them on the acupoints, sometimes on body zones, but the results are, I used to get so over the moon excited about it, and I still am over the moon excited about it, but because I witness miracles literally every day that I'm at clinic, it's kind of like I've gotten used to it. So I still feel the magic and I'm still quite excited, but it's become commonplace to witness the miraculous. So with that, let's take a review or an overview, let's say, of these 6 movements. And then I'm going to go into, like I said, more detail and give you oil examples. So if you start at the top, you see in the top tone category, there's 2 fragrance qualities. There's pungent and lemony. So the pungent likes to lift energy up. The lemony is direct energy out, kind of like a firework. The green oils and the sweet oils tend to affect the middle area of the body. And the green will move energy in a wave. It moves energy in the direction it would like to go. And sweet fragrances tend to move energy either in an infinity loop like you see there, or just simply in a circle of some sort. I will also say the sweet oils will create a rocking movement, like so, within the body. So it's very calming. The woody oils, particularly well, let's just speak woody oils in general, tend to bring energy down and into the core. So like this, down and into the belly button and below the belly button, the pelvis area. Rooty oils are like the opposite of the pungent, and they like to bring energy down. Okay? So that's a little review. We'll review it again at the end and have a little test for ourselves. Okay, so starting off here, we're going to go up, directly up. Going up, top tone oils, pungent and lemony to raise and disperse energies. So those are the key words to anchor into: raise and disperse. So let's look at, this is basically what pungent and lemonies do. They're like a party. They bring energy up, they lift it out. It's very enthusiastic. There's a force behind it, a strength, an energizing aspect. So as you can imagine, this doesn't look like something you would probably want to unleash right before bed. There's other fragrance categories for that. This is more like getting up in the morning, or if you're feeling down and out, or if your mind is feeling cloudy. Okay. So pungent aromas. Pungent aromas raise energy upwards to lift, energize, and potentially warm. And we have two subcategories there. You can see fresh pungent and spicy pungent. So fresh pungent, a couple of examples are like rosemary and eucalyptus. So most of the oils that I'm referring to here as pungent are ones that you might know as camphorous. Things like that smell like Vicks Vapor Rub. And when we smell these sorts of things, it's like, hello, you wake up, it's unmistakable. Your eyes have to open bigger, your nostrils open up bigger. It has this way of opening up your sensory orifices. And usually people will say, like, they feel more alert. And part of that alertness comes from the energy. In Chinese medicine, we say the clear yang energy raises up to the head. The clear yang energy raises up to the head. So you have to think about when you might want something like that. Again, it probably wouldn't be just before bed, especially if you like to think a lot, because you're wanting the energy to descend in order for you to go to sleep. But maybe when you're studying for exams, maybe when you're getting on a webinar like this and you're a little bit tired and you want to pay attention, just take in the fragrance of rosemary or eucalyptus. And one of my favorite acupoints to put it on to create this effect is either lung 1 or lung 2. If you find your clavicle and go out to where it meets the shoulder and then come down, that's lung 2. That's a great point to put it on for lifting the chi and opening the lungs. You can also slide down an inch along the edge of that shoulder groove, and that's lung 1. Incidentally, this point's also really beautiful for moving stuck grief or sorrow. So when you hold an oil on a point like I'm doing and like we did with the ear, you're not pushing in. That would be more acupressure. It's just a very light, it's like you're operating as the conduit between the oil and the body. Okay, then the next subcategory is the spicy pungents: cardamom, clove, ginger, black pepper. And these oils have that lift, and they are energizing in their own way, but they're very circulating and they're warming, as I'm sure you've probably felt if you've worked with them. All of these oils are excellent for digestion. So they are going to lift, but they're also going to move and warm. So you just think about any time that you might want that effect. Like, now here where I am, it's springtime. So it's not nearly as cold as it was, but being in Seattle where it's damp and usually pretty cool for at least 6 months out of the year, oftentimes the elderly patients that come in to see me, I'll create a liniment with some ginger and some cardamom and some black pepper, and I'll put it over the cold joints, cold and achy joints. So that's a great example of how to use those. Okay, now lemony aroma. Lemony is just like this picture. It makes energy go out like this. So, even if you just make this movement right now with your hands, like I think you all can see me too, and not just the screen, but it's like so. And even every time I do this, it's like I can't help but smile. It's almost like your hands are smiling when you do it. And this is the way that lemony energy interfaces with our being, is that it's very bright. It's like a bright smile. It's like that song, it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. You know which one I'm talking about. That's totally the theme song for lemony. So lemony oils are perfect when you're depressed, when you're sad, when those times when we go into like a shrouded state of being. Even if we're not holding our head down like this, it's like our mental body is like this, our emotional body is like this. And this will oftentimes happen after we've experienced something really painful or challenging, and then we get very sad, maybe resentful, maybe regretful, any number of the things we experience. But then our emotional and mental body tends to collapse in on itself. And then we lose perspective. And when we lose perspective, we can become cynical. So I think of Lemonese as the perfect antidote to moving this quality of stagnation, moving cynicism, moving us out of all of the heavy kind of sinking emotional and mental states. And as you can see there, it disperses energy up and out to clarify, expand, and cool. So it lifts you up, it clarifies things because of the way that it expands them. And if you have heat that's raising up in this area, it will help it clear out. If you don't have heat, don't worry, it's not going to cool you off. But oftentimes, like in anxious states, or for example, in hormonal shifts and hot flashes, the heat tends to rise up. The Lemonese is just going to dissipate it out. Okay. So the fresh Lemonese there, lemon, lime, grapefruit, those are wonderful oils to diffuse. You want to be mindful with those oils, putting them on the skin in terms of photosensitization. So if you were going to do that, I would make a dilution, 25% strength or less, and then be mindful with the sunshine. But again, they're great in liniments at a 10 to 15% strength mixed with carrier oil. They're great diffused in a room. Or one thing I love is cupped hand inhalation. So just putting one drop in the center of my hand, rubbing them together and breathing. And that's actually a take-home treatment that I'll give for the treatment of depression with my patients, with very, very good results. The green Lemonese are oils such as lemongrass, Melissa as well as a green lemony. And it's just like the name sounds, it has the lemony aspect, but it also has a bit of green, a little bit of an herb-like fragrance aspect. Okay. Now we're going to go to the mid-zone oils. So the mid-zone oils, these are the sweet and green, and they have an affinity for the middle area of the body. They also have a tendency to work really effectively on moving energy in the mid area of the body. And I hesitate because I find this often that I want to say this fragrance category is probably the most important fragrance category, but I could really say that for each one. I will say that the mid-tones, the green and the sweet, they so beautifully move stagnation. And I think most of us can relate to like getting stuck, which can include feeling confused, not being able to vision our way forward, collapsing into self-doubt, all of these things that I think are part of the human experience. Those are the categories of things that the green and the sweet treat so well. So let's dive into that. The green aroma, let's break that one down first. It moves energy in the direction of its natural momentum to release blockage, relax, and calm. And it can also release heat energy that's bound in stagnation in order to cool and calm. There's a couple of different subcategories. So there's fresh herbaceous green, and these are often the herbs like marjoram, thyme, and they smell herbaceous and they smell green. And some people describe the smell of green like very vibrant, very vital, very fresh. So lavender, clary sage, marjoram, and thyme are some really good examples. Clary sage really, you could probably slot into either of those categories, sweet green or herbaceous green, but there is some like fresh herb and fresh earth aspect to the clary sage fragrance. The sweet greens are, for example, blue tansy and Roman chamomile. So now what's the difference between herbaceous green and sweet green? And when might you want to use one over the other? Okay, good question. The herbaceous green is going to with more force, and I say with quotes because the oils don't really force anything. That's part of the beauty of the oils. It's like they encourage and they help our body remember how to fill in the blank, right? Whatever it is that it's needed. Now, with that said, the herbaceous green have more of a strong message to the body that says, you can move this, you can move this stuckness. Here's a good one. You can relax. This is often the point that, like, if you do body work, your clients want you to dig an elbow in, or just if you receive body work, you oftentimes want somebody to push really hard there. Try a drop of marjoram right here on the top of your traps. And it's certainly, if you can get someone to do it on you, it's lovely, because then you're not sort of contracting your muscles to hold the point. But even on your own, it's nice. 1 to 3 minutes, light touch, hold, breathe. And when you release, just notice the quality of your muscles up there. It's amazing how much tension can release in the skeletal muscles just by adding a little bit of marjoram. So that's an example of the power of green fragrance to really directly and specifically release tension. Now, the sweet greens are going to move the tension, but they're also going to create a kind of circular movement. And that's another way of looking at that, is the rocking movement that I did earlier. So this rocking, or this circular, is very calming to the nervous system, and it brings back balance or equilibrium to whatever the situation is. So when might we want green and sweet green? I think you can probably already tell by now. Any kind of stress state, any kind of tense state. If there's tension, think sweet and sweet green. Oftentimes we see tension with weakness underneath, like a depleted adrenal system, a depleted nervous system. You can still treat the tension with these categories of oils, and then you can supplement and build and restore with the woody category, which we're going to get to in a minute, okay? So when you're working with green aromas, this is the result. It helps us to remember how to go with the flow. And I was saying the other day when I did the live presentation that this is like, that would be my husband there on the surfboard. And surfing for him is very much like having marjoram on gallbladder 21 point. He just totally relaxes. And then I was saying I'd be over there on the beach relaxing. That would be my version of the green or the sweet green. So whatever it is that's your state of ease and of flow, if it's dancing, if it's playing music, if it's relaxing on a beach, that's the energy that the greens and the sweet greens help to bring in. Okay, the sweet aromas. So the sweet aromas harmonize energy by generating circular movements that nourish and restore. So we have 3 different subcategories for sweet. There's lemony sweets like bergamot, mandarin, sweet orange, neroli, ylang. And then there's rosy sweet oils like geranium, rose, helichrysum, jasmine. And then there's pungent sweet oils like fennel and coriander seed. And I wrote down at the bottom, a little bit of sweet makes all of life more full and nourishing. So it's true, it's the sweet taste that helps nourishment make its way into our cells. It's the sweet flavor, literally. It's the sweet biochemical encapsulations in the form of sugars that provide energy, fuel for us to run on. It's the sweetness in someone's voice that helps us to accept the message that they're delivering. It's like a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. It's the sweetness, the little sweet things that help us to digest life. Life is not easy. And so for this reason, I include sweet oils in every treatment that I do. And I feel like we should all carry around at least one of our favorite sweet oils to inhale, to hold on a point, to put on the body zone, to help us to literally digest and be able to find the sweetness in life, and also our sweet rhythm within life. So the lemony sweets are going to have the effect of harmonizing and balancing, plus dispersing and clarifying, okay? The rosy sweets are like the optimal for this sort of churning, balancing, calming, lulling like a lullaby. They're probably the most emotionally comforting group of oils there. You can see rose and jasmine are in that group. And in the last group, the pungent sweets, just by looking at those two oils, what do you think those would best support? I know I can't hear you, so I'm imagining you're saying digestion. And that's true. It helps to make circles within the digestive system. So, to help our stomach to create chyme out of our food and pass that on, there's lots of sort of rhythmic circular movements throughout the whole digestive process. So, with sweets, you end up like that. They just have this way of bringing a happy, balanced, calm energy to any situation. I'm just welcoming any new people hopping on here. We're going to continue and head down to the base tone oils. And the base tone oils are woody and rooty. So we started off at the top tone with pungent and lemony. Then we went to the mid tone oils with sweet and green. And now we're going down to the lower portion with woody and rooty. Now, woody oils tend to impact the body in the lower dantian, the pelvic region, but also down at the bottom of the body. So, like the ankles, woody oils love to go on the ankles, on the feet. Rooty oils love to go on the feet. It doesn't mean you can't put these oils other places, but certainly there's certain body areas that have more of an affinity for certain types of fragrances. That's part of what I'm sharing with you. Good. So woody and rooties, this is the key words to remember, and it's easy to remember because you just think about this. They center, bringing energy into the center. Imagine the strength of that trunk for containing the energy in the way that it does. They center, they stabilize. What was my other keyword? Center, ground, and stabilize. Center, ground, and with that centering and that grounding, there's a stability. So you can just feel the fortitude and the strength that this tree has and that this tree transmits when we work with the woody and the rooty oils. That's the medicine of those oils to our nervous system. Like, you are here, you are stable, you are grounded, you have roots, and you can reach up to the sky and connect with the sunlight of spirit. It's all those things that the woody and the oils transmit. I get so excited about them because of how much we need that energy at this time. So let's break it down. The woody aroma. The woody aroma centers energy to stabilize, which then allows for restoration and relaxation, R&R. So it centers energy to stabilize. Now, I want you to think about this in your own experience right now. So this is probably not too hard to imagine because most of us live like this. So imagine you have 50 things going on, projects, perhaps kids, family members, if not kids, or family members and kids, household, grocery store list, your to-do list, plus the pending to-dos that you're worried about that are far off down the road, money concerns, people concerns. You just feel all of these little threads kind of coming out of you. And with each one of those threads, a money concern, there goes some of your energy. A concern of a family member, a thought about this future thing, a worry about this thing. So all of these are these little threads pulling you out of yourself. So once you're like this, with all of this stuff pulled out, what does it feel like in your middle? It's kind of like, oh, where am I exactly? And you can feel this sort of vacuity, or it's an emptiness, a porousness in your center. So this is how often we get off center, including even, falling and tripping or having accidents, because our energy is going out in so many different directions and it really wants to be pulled in. So now imagine all of your energy coming into you right now, coming in like that grand tree trunk. And as it comes in and collects in, keep collecting it in, keep calling it in, keep allowing it to come into you. Now feel what it feels like to be here now. For me, it was like when I was pulled in the many different directions, I felt a kind of electrical feeling out here, and my skeletal muscles felt more tense. My glutes were contracted. And as I felt it collect in, then my shoulders came down and relaxed. My jaw relaxed, my glutes relaxed. So that's the action of woody aromas. You can imagine how important this is. And I was sharing with the group the other night that I used to always go to green oils to relax people, like lavender. Lavender, we all need to relax. I was using lavender. It was about a third of my patients who would not relax with lavender. And I finally found that the key there is they needed to be collected in before they could relax. They needed a sweet woody or a woody to be collected in, and then things could flow and relax. So play around with this with yourself. My favorite place to put woody oils for relaxation is on point CB6. I have a kind of a jumpsuit on, so I can't lift it up, but here's my belly button. And if I go an inch and a half below my belly button, that's point CV6. You could also type it into a search engine to find it. And if you hold a nice sweet woody like cedarwood, myrrh, sandalwood, patchouli, you just hold and breathe. And it has that exact effect that we just went through of just gathering yourself in, strengthening and centering and restoring you. If this speaks to you, and if you feel like this is a movement that would be a healthy balancing movement for you to collect in, then what I'd encourage you to do is every day, take 30 days and every day hold that, your choice of oil there on point CB6, and notice the impacts and the effects. I'd love to hear from you how it goes too, if you want to share. Okay, so there's the sweet woody subcategory, and that literally, it's got the woody fragrance, but it also has a sweetness to it. So it's harmonizing and circulating energy, but it's also bringing it in and down. Then pungent woodies are quite a different smell experience. So this is like Siberian fir, cypress, Douglas fir, juniper berry. They have that pungent aspect, which right now, if you could do your hands in the direction that pungent moves energy, do that. Okay, good. Yeah, it's like this. So the pungent's going to move energy up, but the woody is going to collect it in. So imagine it's something like this, in and then lift. So this is perfect when you need to be collected in, but you also need to lift because there's a deep fatigue underneath things. Oftentimes when we get super scattered, it's because there's not enough chi to hold things in appropriately. So imagine activating that chi to hold and gather, but also to lift you up and strengthen your immune system, strengthen your upright chi, your senses. My favorite thing to do with the pungent woodies is to put them on the spine, to layer a drop about every 2 to 3 inches and lightly stroke that, nerve stroke that up the spine, very, very slow. I call this the tree of life treatment, and it's one of my favorites. You can use the oils undiluted on the spine, but I have taken to actually making a 50% dilution with most of the pungent woodies. Most of the pungent woodies are sensitive to oxidization, which is a process that happens when the oils get air. And when certain conifer oils oxidize, they can become more of a skin irritant. If you add a bit of carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil or organic jojoba, you don't have to worry about skin reactions that way. So try that out. And again, I'd love to hear what your experiences are. With the spinal treatment, of course, you need a partner, but that's part of the beauty of it too. Okay, so a little review. You see our top tones up above, and those are the pungents up. You can do this with me. Up, pungent, lemonies, disperse and clarify, greens, circulate and create relaxation, sweets, harmonize and soothe and calm, The woodies center and stabilize. And now we're going to go to Rudy's last. They sink energy down to ground. So we're going right into that. Rudy aroma sinks energy downwards to ground, creating a calm stability while channeling any excess heat energy downwards. And sometimes you may not experience this as heat, but it might be agitation or restlessness or racing mind. All of those things can be sunk downward with Rudy aromas. So these are oils like spikenard, vetiver, turmeric, which has some woody and some Rudy aroma to it. And in fact, I have a picture for you. Yeah, this, if you can imagine, this is a picture of vetiver roots. These roots right here in this photo are 13 feet long. And they literally will grow like this, 13, 14 feet down into the earth. And it's why vetiver is planted all over Asia, especially in areas where there's monsoon seasons, because it prevents the hillsides from eroding and mudslides, as you can imagine. So I say vetiver in us, it prevents erosion. And when I was joking with Dr. Louise and I yesterday, we're talking at a lovely lunch, and she was reminding me that in my Master Healer course, I say vetiver helps to prevent soul erosion. And it is one of the beautiful gifts of this precious ally, which is that it helps to counteract the amazingly impactful onslaught of the superficial, of the artificial. We live in a time where if there's it's almost like we have a kind of soulful battle that we come up against in our life, or come up to in our life, which is to take a stand for that which is pure. But by pure, I mean authentic, for that which is authentic, for that which has depth, for that which has meaning. And vetiver can help remind us, like, no, you have these deep roots. No, you know in your bones what's good and right for you. You know in your bones the right way forward. So think about working with vetiver anytime you're getting sort of, if you're in the in a washing machine phase of life, getting tousled around, if you're moving, if you're going through transition with work or relationship, all these things that can be disorienting. This is the time when you want to work with vetiver to activate your deep roots, keep you steady amongst the turmoil and change. Okay, this last category is euphoria. And the definition of euphoria is a mental and emotional condition in which a person experiences intense feelings of well-being, elation, happiness, excitement, and joy. So euphoric oils, it's a separate category, but it's not referring to the fragrance. So we wouldn't say it smells euphoric. But euphoric describes the experience of the fragrance. So smelling jasmine makes me feel euphoric or euphoria. So most euphoric oils are floral and sweet, such as jasmine, rose, ylang, and neroli. And some are not floral, such as sandalwood and clary sage. Really, any oil that makes you feel sort of blissed out is a euphoria creating oil for you. So I would say it's very important to know what your euphoric oil is and keep that with you, because we all need euphoria. It's one of the reasons why people will often go out for cocktail hour, or have a couple of glasses of wine at night, or take marijuana, or whatever the substance is, to just lift themselves out of themselves. But whereas with alcohol or marijuana, it's very easy to cross a threshold where you're lifted out, but then you become too porous and your energy body isn't healthy and intact. Whereas when you smell a euphoric oil, it lifts you up out of yourself and provides relief, but it ensconces you in this bliss bubble. If you look down at the bottom there, it says three things happen with euphorics. Ensconces you in a bliss bubble, smooths and soothes the energy body, stabilizes the heart center, and helps to engender a sense of safety in the body and in the psyche. These are all enormously important, and I could go on for easily another hour on just this, but I'm conscious of the time right now. So um, imagine being ensconced, imagine that lifting up and out of yourself, and imagine when that medicine is really needed for you. For example, with me, the intensity of the situation that I was working with right before I got on the phone with you, I actually cleared my space and I put on a euphoric so that I could be lifted a little bit up and out. That would be a good example at the end of a long day, after getting intense news, after sitting in traffic, all these things. Okay, so this is you on oils. This is me on oils. This is us on oils. You see all of this light coming out of this being and a sense of elation, but also this quality of being directly, on this picture, it's on top of this rock, and the rock being this emblem of wisdom, of strength, of something that has traversed time, that quality of timelessness. And these are all the gifts of the oils, radiance, a lightening of being, stability, a connection to our own depth and our own wisdom. And really, if I had to sum up on a soul level what it is that oils gift us with, it's that they help us remember who we really are. They help us remember our own authentic and true nature. And they help different capacities and facilities within our psyche and within our body to come back online, to be remembered. And it's through this remembering process that we get to be more of who we are. It's kind of like we awaken and say, oh, yeah, that's me. Oh, I can be like that too. So this has certainly been my journey and experience with the oils, and I have a feeling you can probably relate to this. Okay. I wanted to share just a couple of things with you in closing. I can already feel like, oh, I wish we could stay together a bit longer here, but um, alas, if you'd like to stay connected and you'd like to learn more about the oils in this way, you can join me and hundreds of people that are all over the world in this process called the Healing Oil Collective. The website is there. It's master-healer.teachable.com. If you also just type in Healing Oil Collective, the site will come up. And if you choose to do the entire 33 oil journey, which I hope that you do, you can take $50 off for being part of the doTERRA community. Just enter doTERRA, all caps, upon checkout. And I hope to see you there. It's such a brilliant and beautiful way to, again, bridge your knowledge with your intuitive knowing, all in a journey style that is meant to help heal and transform and support you so that you can support others on your path. I also have offerings in Sri Lanka, which are week-long retreats, and we go deep with, mostly with the spice oils, but we work with a handful of awesome oils when we're there that the plants actually grow locally, some of which are just in our yard there. It's a sweet way to experience the oils, to rest, recharge, and play. And I invite you there. I usually have one a year. So if you'd like to know when the next Sri Lanka retreat is, please go to tiffanycarroll.com, Carol with an E at the end, and there's an email sign-up box. Just enter your email, and I treat your emails with utmost respect, no spamming. I'll just simply announce when retreats are coming up, and I send out little bits of inspiration around the oils. Okay, stay in touch with me, tiffanycarroll.com. You can find my email. You can also sign up for the email list so you can hear about the things coming up. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Oh, it was so wonderful to hear all of that information again. Thank you so much. Will you go ahead and go to our next slide?
Yes.
So yes, deep gratitude for all of you joining us on Facebook Live and here on Zoom. And we just want to share with you, if you have not joined our Essential Wellness doTERRA community, please connect with the person that invited you to this webinar, and they will help you get started. We have some great specials going on this month. And or if you're coming to this webinar and you're not connected with anyone in particular, please email us at info@essentialwellness.life, and we will help get you connected. We offer these essential oil classes every single month. You can, again, catch them on the Zoom. If you go to Eventbrite at Essential Wellness, you will see our schedule. And or if you follow my Aisha Harley business page, I list all of our events there, and we do a deep dive every month into a different topic. So we have a fantastic lineup this year of some really great speakers, like we had today, and sharing wonderful information. And go ahead and go to the next slide, and I believe that will wrap it up. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I hope you will come back again. And I have dreams of all of us going to Sri Lanka together. So I'm just putting that out there, that we will have an Essential Wellness community retreat in Sri Lanka. Can we make that deal right here? It's being recorded.
I'm on board.
So let's do that. That would be lovely. So thank you all so much, and have a wonderful day.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.